CBC Stage. CBC Stage, our radio drama showcase, presents The Widow of the Mississagi by Len Peterson, with music composed and conducted by Morris Surdin. Production and direction, Esse W. Ljungh. Presenting Joan Maronie as Madame Provencher, Ed McNamara as Jim Gilroy, and Tommy Tweed as Cruel Face, in The Widow of the Mississagi by Len Peterson.
They tell of the widow of the Mississagi in the beverage rooms of the Sioux. That's where I first heard of her. It sounds like a tale concocted out of beer foam with a little salt. If you travel into Mississagi timber country, you'll find it's not all beer foam talk. That's for sure. And I met an old logger in the old men's home in Blind River who said he was at Camp 11, or maybe it was Camp 34. His mind was a little hazy with old age. But anyway, whichever it was, he was there when the widow turned up. She'd been hired as a washwoman for camp to wash the men's clothes. She rode up in a supply truck along the Chapleau Road.
Here's the pickles and the canned salmon you ordered, cook.
I was beginning to wonder if the bridge had washed out.
The boys starving? Hiya, Jim. How are the logs?
Beginning to pile up.
Where's the rest of the stuff, Louis?
Coming. Brought your washwoman, too.
What's she like?
Bon Dieu, bon Dieu, bon Dieu.
Ugly.
Gonna be a shock. This washwoman...
Worse than the last one?
No. Good looking.
Oh, Louis, anything with 2 arms and 2 legs and a woman's name is good looking to you.
Jim, best looking girl I ever seen.
What?
Don't bother going to the window, cook. You're not going to see much.
Whoa. No, not much at all. She's coming in. Louis, you're stringing us. That's a tourist. That's no washwoman.
Okay, she's a tourist.
Provencher wouldn't have a widow like that. Come in.
Oh, a real log cookhouse. And you're the cook?
I'm the cook. And this is Jim Gilroy, the woods boss.
Well, how do?
I have heard of you from Marcel.
You're Marcel Provencher's widow?
Yes?
You were married to Marcel Provencher?
Yes.
You were his wife?
Why not?
I told you, Jim.
And you've come here to work?
Yes.
As a washwoman?
Mais oui.
Oh, no, young lady.
It was arranged with the mill.
Who arranged it?
The manager.
You went and saw him?
No, I wrote him a letter. He wrote me after the accident, and he said if there was ever anything he could do...
Well, you better go on home again.
Why?
You won't want this job. It's too rough.
I came here to see the place where Marcel... where it happened.
Well, okay, we'll show you, and then you go back home.
Jim, we need a washwoman.
But not her. There's too many men around here. Madame Provencher, if you'd like to stay here a day or two, we'll show you around and try to make you comfortable.
I want to find out what it was like for Marcel the winter he worked here. That is why I took this job.
Well, it's no job for you.
You do not think I can wash clothes?
That's not what I'm afraid of. The men come into the woods here in September, and a good many of them don't go out again until the spring breakup, not even for Christmas. There's no sound or look of a woman.
They see the washwoman and sometimes a woman cookie.
Cook. Have you ever seen a washwoman or a cookie who looked like her?
What is wrong with how I look?
You're too good looking for this place. That's what's wrong. We're flesh and blood, stuck here all winter. Any woman looks good after a while, but you, somebody like you, it's too much to be. The boys wouldn't know what to, or how to, well, it'd be too much.
Give the boys a treat, Jim. If she wants to stay and work.
Might turn out to be the best winter we ever had.
Madame Provencher, cook here's married. He doesn't know where his wife is, but he's married. Maybe you should know that.
Madame Provencher, would you like a cup of tea or coffee? There's both in the stove here.
Oh, mais oui, I'll have coffee, thank you. Oh, what a big stove.
Louis, help yourself.
That's what I'm doing.
Monsieur Gilroy, I do want to stay and meet all Marcel's friends here.
Friends?
Yeah, Marcel had a lot of friends.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure, yeah. I got along very well with your husband.
Yeah, the cook's everybody's friend.
Marcel wrote me wonderful letters from here. This place seemed so good for him till...
Oh, yeah, he did fine here. The life of the party.
Will I be able to see the lake soon? Is it far from here?
No, not far.
Is there work for me to do right away?
You don't need to work. Louis, when you go back to town, tell them we still need a washwoman.
We okay?
No, don't tell them that, Louis. Tell them that Madame Provencher pitched right in at the camp and they are very pleased with her.
That's for sure.
No, Louis, don't you tell them any such thing.
The word went out into the woods where the men were cutting that the new washwoman was a real stinger to look at. Most of them shouldered their saws and axes and walked back along the trails, back into camp while the sun was still a good span from the horizon. They hurried into their bunkhouses and cleaned up and then stood around the camp yard, waiting to catch a glimpse of the woman. When they did, one logger, cruel-faced McKinnon, swallowed his wad of chewing tobacco. But not one of them moved even one step towards the beautiful widow as she crossed from the camp office to the small hut that had been fixed up by Steve, the camp clerk, for her to bunk in. Not one of them uttered a word, but all followed her with their masculine eyes. When she disappeared, those who recovered first slapped, pummeled, and kicked those who remained in a trance.
Oh. Hey, Johnson. You not ever see a woman before?
Not like that.
Not in the woods, eh?
No place. But she is in mourning, remember.
A lot of life in that walk, just the same.
Papineau, she's too good for any of us.
Red, she was too good for Provencher, too.
She won't look at us.
She looked at Provencher.
She thinks Provencher was a great fella.
A beautiful woman in the woods like a beautiful woman on a ship. She brings trouble.
Yeah, Crowface, that's what Jim Gilroy's worried about.
Yeah, but oh, Mary, Mother of God, wouldn't we sooner have trouble with a looker than an easy time with a plain one?
But there's 163 of us here.
No woman like that should be around the Mississagi. She's got the cruel face, not me.
Well, come spring, sweethearts. I wonder how many I'll still be cooking for. Come spring.
Jim Gilroy, the woods boss, seemed to find a great many things around the camp that needed his attention after the widow turned up, so he didn't move off to the other camps for some time. Napoleon Gauthier, the camp foreman, offered to take the widow to Fearful Lake, but Gilroy thought he himself should represent the company on such a trip. Gauthier, who'd begun as a camp blacksmith and rose to camp foreman over the years, was fine handling iron and horses and logs and men, but he was no one to take care of a woman in a tender moment. That was Gilroy's opinion, anyway.
That is Wakamota Lake,
That's her.
where it happened.
Yeah, just offshore here, about 300 yards. See, the logs come down the river over there. We make them into rafts and tow them across to the river flowing into the Mississagi.
Tow them with the tugs?
Marcel's tug was running along, not towing anything when it happened. It was a calm day like today.
What made it happen?
Well, we're still trying to figure it out. The water rolled in over the back end, flooded the engine room, and down she went in a few seconds. The other tug, coming around the point there, cut loose from the log she was towing and come over to pick up Marcel and the skipper, who were swimming around. But Marcel disappeared before they got to him. They picked up the skipper.
But Marcel was a good swimmer.
You don't swim long in this lake in early May.
Oh, if he had come home at the end of the winter when the cutting was done.
Well, we were short a mechanic for the tug. He was a good mechanic, Marcel. I'll say that for him. Kept his trucks and tractor in good shape all winter.
He wrote me about the tug job. I told him to stay. He was going to start a small garage with the money he came out with.
Well, everybody takes his chances. Around here, anyway.
Oh, the day that was the day. I had been out shopping, and I came into the kitchen, and no one said anything. I knew something was wrong, and then my mother said, "Oh, so you are back." And I knew she had something dreadful to tell me, and she told me.
But things go on.
I don't know.
Well, you learn that around here.
Do you? Do you think Marcel knows I am here?
Well, maybe, if you believe in souls.
Don't you?
There's a canoe up the camp that belongs to your husband.
A canoe? Oh, wait, yes, I forgot. Marcel bought one for a few dollars from an Indian and paddled it on the Mississagi.
It's stored in a barn. It's got a hole in it. These birch marks don't stand up to much.
He loved the water, Marcel, and the woods. He wrote me beautiful letters from here. It's a pretty view, the lake. But I shouldn't think such a thing with Marcel dead out there.
Madame Provencher, go on back home to Montreal or wherever your home is.
Rimouski.
Go on back and pick things up. Forget this place.
Oh, I could not do that.
A beautiful girl like you.
I loved Marcel.
What do you love again?
You know, my family did not like Marcel. They thought he was... Oh, they did not like him at all. And other people, they... But to me, he was... I look around me and I never see anyone half as good as Marcel.
What a lucky fellow, Provencher.
What did you think of him, Monsieur Gilroy?
Well, I was never in love with him, so I never saw him the way you did.
But he was liked here, huh? And he never...
Never what?
Oh, nothing. Are you married?
Yeah.
Like the cook, or do you know where your wife is?
Yeah, I know. We get along better when I'm in the woods and she's down at Owen Sound.
Oh, you are probably a good husband.
Not very.
Somewhere out there. Maybe if I sit by this lake long enough, Marcel will come back.
Well, I think we'd better be moseying back to camp.
Now that I know the way, I will come on my own and sit and wait for Marcel.
If I had someone like you this gone on me, I'd come back.
If you were dead? Would you? Then Marcel will. I know he will. He loves me the way I love him. He would not go without me.
The clouds are coming up in the west. Maybe rain before we get back.
It is getting chilly. Or is it me?
There may be snow in them clouds.
It will be beautiful here in the winter.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You have not noticed?
Well, we better see you get out before the camp's snowbound.
I am not going. I am staying. I will be close to Marcel here.
Well, let me put it blunt, then. You were a married woman.
I still am. Here is the ring on my finger.
So you're not innocent. You know what a man is. The winter's long, and every time they look at you, they'll... Now, you may think you're married, but the men won't see it that way.
You will let me stay. I know you will.
No, I won't.
You are very kind, Monsieur Gilroy. I saw that right off when I met you.
I can't have trouble, and I'm not kind.
You won't send me away.
I have to get the logs out. I have to get the logs out.
And so the widow stayed. The snow came and lay deep on the ground and heavy on the boughs of the evergreens, and it seemed that Madame Provencher was right. Jim Gilroy was wrong. Camp 34, it probably was Camp 34, was the least troublesome camp in the district. There were no fights, at least not in the beginning. There wasn't even any swearing in the camp, if you can believe it. And not since logging started on the Mississagi had there ever been such a spruced-up bunch of loggers as those at the widow's camp. It quickly became known throughout the district as the widow's camp. Clean boots, clean, sometimes even pressed clothes, shaved faces, trimmed beards and mustaches, combed hair, even clean fingernails. Those were the fashion at the evening meal in the widow's camp.
Hey, Cruel-Face McKinnon. What are you doing swiping all that hot water?
I need it.
That's the cookie's water for the dishes.
I need it.
So does Lindsay. Never enough water for him anymore.
I gotta shave.
Man, you got enough water there to shave a buffalo.
Well, some things I gotta wash, too.
What?
Clothes.
Clothes? That's the widow's job.
But mine are dirty.
Well, she don't wash clean clothes.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Huh?
Think I want to give her my dirty socks? Give them to a girl like that? Or this shirt all mud?
But that's her job.
Hey, cook.
What?
Yeah, give me a bucket of hot water and some soap, eh?
Papineau, you too?
Me too what?
Stealing the widow's work away from her.
I'm not stealing her work. These shirts and underwear, give them to her like that? I am a gentleman. I wash them, then give them to her.
What's the sense in that?
That is her job, to wash clothes, eh?
But not clean clothes.
I will leave them a little dirty.
No.
Garno does it too, and Hollingsworth, and Lepanic, and Seguin, and Red Thorpe.
Does squat.
Wash their clothes up a bit before they give them to the widow.
So that's where our hot water's going, and why the widow's so fast with her washing.
We are thinking of Provencher, too.
Provencher? What did you think of him when he was alive, Cruel-Face?
He's dead now, so I think well of him.
I'm trying to get to hate this widow, trying to. Only way I'm going to be able to stand it.
Getting you down, eh, cook?
Sometimes I got to break something. A dish or two. Oh, yeah. Sure, you fellas are out in the woods all day, but I got to keep looking at her.
That is bad.
I'm the one talked Gilroy into letting her stay. Oh, now I wish she'd go.
You need a holiday in Blind River a few days, Cook.
I work out in my head what I want to say to her so she'll stay away from me. But then she comes into the cookhouse, and all she's got to do is look at me. And my backbone goes as limp as spaghetti. And I'd eat a bar of her laundry soap if she asked me to.
Yeah, me too, eh?
She might one of these days. She's got short legs, Lindsay, working for her now. Yeah, look out the window.
Hey!
The cook's taking the widow's washing down for her off the line.
The son of a... So that's where he is, instead of washing his dishes here.
He has a chance with her, maybe.
He's old enough to be her grandfather and short enough to be her son.
Each logger in the camp asked himself at least 1,000 questions about the widow, many of them over and over again, for the beauty of the widow was that kind having depth and mystery beneath the soft and lovely outward form. Sometimes her eyes were cold and remote. At other times they were full of warm humor. And when she smiled on some logger, he thought her kind, but when she smiled on another, then she was cruel. Some days she would smile on no one and move as though she were quite alone in the woods. Other days she would be as delighted with everyone as a spoiled and pretty young girl at a party in her honor. She paid no more attention to the young and handsome loggers, and there were a few, like Papineau and Johnson and Red Thorpe, than she paid to the ugly, bow-legged and old, so that Cruel-Face McKinnon had his innings the same as the others.
Do you? Can you? Oh, my, would you?
Oh, sure, if you want me to.
Oh, Cruel-Face, that would be wonderful. Where did you learn about canoes?
From my grandfather, my mother's father. He was a Blackfoot.
Indian?
Sure.
So, you have Indian blood. Oh, my, isn't that wonderful? It's exciting.
Oh, I don't know.
It must make you feel very good. So you are 1/4 Indian. Oh, my, you are lucky. I wish I had some Indian blood.
Doesn't seem to help the Indians around here much.
I like you, Cruel Face. Is Cruel Face your Indian name?
No. Somebody gave that to me on the river drive years ago.
What is your name?
Walter.
That's what I will call you, Walter.
Well, I guess Cruel Face fits me better. That's why it's stuck.
Oh, your face is not cruel.
Huh?
It is a very interesting face.
Yeah?
I do not like a man very handsome, do you? And, you can really fix up this broken canoe of Marcel so I can use it in the spring?
Well,
we used to canoe on the Gaspé River, but never in a birch bark.
Oh, they're tricky.
Oh, this is so good of you, Cruel. Pardon, Walter. You are doing a very wonderful thing for me, fixing it. I might even kiss you for it.
You get... Huh?
When you have finished.
Oh, well, I won't hold you to that bargain. You might want to change your mind. But I'll fix the canoe anyways.
Oh, Cruel Face, I feel good today. Some days I feel so sad around here. But today I feel... Oh, dear. I have called you Cruel Face again.
Only name, I guess, fits me.
Cruel Face, you make me feel so happy.
Cruel Face McKinnon fixed the canoe. A fine job he made of it, too. And the widow paid him with a kiss. Kiss on the cheek, but still a fine kiss. The first she gave to anyone in the camp.
You hear about Cruel Face, eh? The widow kissed him.
What?
Him? Yeah, Red Thorpe saw it. So did Steve the clerk. So did Short Legs Lindsay.
What kind of girl is she? Married Provencher and kissed Cruel Face McKinnon. She sure picks him.
Women, they are very strange.
Yeah. She could kiss me any time. And she picks Cruel Face. Oh.
What's the trouble with you, cook?
Nothing, Steve.
I never seen you banging the pans in the stove like that before. What is it? New recipe?
Yeah.
Add 1 cup of sugar, bang around for 3 minutes, then place in moderate oven.
What's a guy got to do around here to be appreciated?
You sound like somebody's wife.
I'm quitting cooking. I work in the woods like any bonehead. You cook 3 meals a day, hand out snacks every 10 minutes. You bake bread, cakes, pies, cookies. Make sure there's always plenty of hot water. Let everybody use this kitchen like a parlor. Listen to everybody's squawks. Act as a lady's maid for all the women in this camp. Help with this.
All what women?
All the women.
Who besides the widow?
Seems like a whole harem. All the chores they would ask me to do. Cook, would you give me a hand with this? Cook, would you do me this, help me that? I spend half my time choring for her. But you sure gotta pick your chores. If you pick the right one, then you're a hero.
Oh, that's what it's all about.
That's what's all about.
You're sore about Cruel Face.
Cruel Face who?
Oh, he better find some other place to eat.
All you gotta do is put a couple of patches on a canoe and the wood'll treat you like you discovered America.
Cook, you please me very much. All the things you do for me.
Huh? When did you come in?
I have been standing in the doorway listening.
You get an earful?
Are you very angry with me, Cook?
No. Why should I be?
You have been very good to me.
No, I haven't done anything.
Now.
I'm just a flunky. I've been a flunky all my life in hotels and camps and cafes.
Oh, without you, Cook, it would not be very easy for me, would it?
No.
I do owe you something, don't I?
No. What? Nothing.
Would you stop being mad at me if I gave you a kiss? There.
Now, don't make fun of me, Madame Provencher. I'm a fellow with feelings.
Then I will give you another.
One more than cruel face. I feel like a pope.
In the woods, there was talk of nothing else.
She's kissed Crowface. And the cook. The cook twice. On his nose.
It's not a pretty nose, that one.
That's for sure, Ed.
Short-Legs Lindsay says the widow's kissed him, too. By the woodpile.
What?
But nobody else saw her.
Short-Legs making it up.
But the kind of thing she might do, Boris.
All I wait for now, her to kiss the barn boss.
Yeah. The four ugliest specimens in camp.
Except for maybe you, Red Thorpe.
Well, then my turn's coming pretty soon.
Hey, what's going on here, Boris? Red?
A little rest.
How the logs you been cutting?
Oh, pretty good logs, Jim.
Mm-hmm. Not much rotten stuff?
Oh, good stand here.
Mostly Norway?
Fair amount of white pine with it.
Yeah? Looks like good stuff. You got another skidway logs near here?
No, that's it.
Well, that's not an awful lot of logs.
A fair number cut laying around. We still have to skid.
Yeah, you must have. 'Cause that isn't a very big skidway. None of the gangs in Camp 34 seem to be up to what they should be. I don't get it. Good timber around here. We've had good weather.
The reports of the scalers who measured the logs in the skidways and calculated the board feet cut bore out what Jim Gilroy suspected. Camp 34 was falling far behind the other camps, and without reason. The timber around the camp was, if anything, better than around the other camps. The grounds they had to work on wasn't any more rugged, and they had just as many gangs working. The only difference, and the woods boss decided that must be it, the difference was that the other camps didn't have a washwoman like the one at Camp 34. Something had to be done, and Jim Gilroy was the man to do it. He confronted the beautiful source of the trouble as she bent over her wash tubs.
Madame Provencher?
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
More snow, nippy but nice out, huh? You are just in time to help me wring out these heavy overalls. They don't go through the wringer. Here.
Me?
Yes. Good for you to do something for a change.
Me?
It is nice to be woods boss, huh? And just walk around and watch everybody else work.
I wish I could walk around and see everybody work. That's what I want to talk to you about.
Grab the other end of these things, please. If I do not squeeze the water out, they turn to white and they never dry. Oh, let me that.
How's that?
Oh, easy. If you twist any more, you will have me spinning with it.
You have to look like that even when you're washing clothes.
Oh, I know. I look terrible. My hair in this dress.
I wish you would look terrible.
Oh, I do. Horrible.
Madame Provencher. Claire?
What?
Well, things have worked out the way I was afraid they were going to.
You were afraid the men were going to fight over me, and they have not, see? They have been sweet as lambs. Hey, you have not finished yet. All these other heavy things to wring out. Here, grab this.
Yeah, it's my job to see the men get the logs out.
Oh, what's the matter? You have not been doing your job.
Well, everywhere but in this camp.
Oh, you bad fellow.
It's not me. It's you. Because of you, the men spend too much time around the camp instead of out chopping trees.
Because of me? What do I do?
Oh, what do you do? I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I'm sorry.
Leave?
Yes.
But I love it here. Everyone has been so kind to me. And I feel close to Marcel here. And Oh, 1,000 things.
I can't help it. We're here to get logs out. We're not getting them.
And it is my fault.
Well, you've been here half the winter. You've seen what kind of a life Marcel lived here. It's what you came for.
Ask the men to work harder.
Well, I'm not shy. I have. So is Gautier, the foreman.
And what do they say?
Well, sure. But I don't see any more logs.
Well, you will have to use a whip on them. Maybe they would work for me. Get out the logs so I could stay.
For you?
They all liked Marcel, so maybe they will do this for his widow.
Yeah.
Then you will let me ask them?
Oh, next time I come talking to you, I'll plug my ears and wear a blindfold.
Why?
You know why.
The men of Camp 34 cut the logs, and the widow stayed on. In the next month, they cut more logs than any of the other camps, and the widow rewarded them with a smile, a wink, a nod, a hand clasp, a pat on the cheek, chat, and occasionally a fleeting embrace. To each man, his reward seemed a promise of something more, a promise of... Well, you can imagine what a bunch of loggers, leading the life of energetic monks in the forest, but without their celibate vows, would imagine. Steve, the clerk, brought the dreams of the loggers closer to being realized one day and made himself very popular by coming up with a brilliant suggestion.
Madame Provencher, do you dance?
Oh, oui. J'aime beaucoup ça danser, yes.
Well, look then, why don't I have the fellas toss in half $1 apiece and buy a gramophone and some records?
Steve, that would be lovely.
Yeah, and we could push back the tables and dance in the cookhouse.
Oh, that would be divine.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
All the loggers in the camp thought it was a divine idea. No, that isn't the word they used. The appeal for funds was oversubscribed an hour after it was proposed. And a few days later, the supply truck brought in a handsome music machine and a box of records. And the dance was on. The widow was very fair about it. She danced with each logger in turn and gave lessons to those like Shortlegs Lindsay and Red Thorpe who had never learned to dance.
But relax, Red. You're too stiff.
Yeah, relax.
You're not relaxing. Relax and glide with the music. And hold your girl closer.
Hold you closer?
Are you afraid of me?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I am.
Closer, that's better. Closer.
I always thought dancing was sissy.
It takes a real man to dance well with a girl.
It was a long wait between dances with the belle of the ball, so in their impatience, the loggers began dancing with one another, not always with the happiest results.
Hey, who's leading here, Cook, you or me?
I am, Crowface.
No, I am.
I am.
You got a more feminine face.
Who's got a feminine face?
You heard.
Well, I better run here.
Well, you're not gonna on here.
I'll walk off and leave you standing here in the middle of the floor.
Just like a woman.
Who's a woman?
Well, you bake pies and cakes, don't you?
Okay, Crowface, I'll bake you.
Oh! Hey, oh, you want to bake?
Now you two dance together and behave, huh? Go ahead, or I will never dance with either of you again. You come on, Cook, and come on, Crowface.
Oh, okay.
Come along, darling. But don't step on my toes.
Oh, that is nice.
My, don't they make a lovely couple, smiling at each other through their swollen black eyes.
It was too much for the loggers, the many suggestive favors and compliments the widow paid them, and those moments when they held her dancing and felt her beauty moving with them. A man is a man is a man is a man, you might say, and there's a limit to what he can bear in the woods or anywhere else. He can chop down 100 trees, 1,000 trees, 10,000 trees, but it won't help.
Oh, widow! That widow!
He can tire himself out that he falls asleep right after supper and dreams of flying axes and falling trees and dancing saws. But somewhere she'll appear.
That widow.
Some of the loggers took flight one Saturday night over the frozen roads and went into town. They searched the streets of Thessalon, Iron Bridge, and Blind River for beauties less unattainable than the one they'd left behind in camp. They found a few.
But, even in the dark.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
When I left camp, I didn't think I'd be particular.
Or me.
Or me?
Let's go and have another drink, fellas.
More than one, Crewface.
Lots more than one. I hate women. Everyone except my mother.
I don't even like my mother.
In the tavern, the loggers drank until they all felt like strangers and couldn't remember ever having known one another before.
What do you do?
I am logger.
That's funny. So am I. And what do you do?
I'm a logger.
Isn't that interesting? We're all loggers.
But it isn't my occupation.
What's your occupation?
I think.
What?
I think about my widow.
Your widow?
There's she.
Back at camp.
That's funny. I got a widow back at camp.
So have I.
They're not the same person, Harvey. Him and him and him.
Do you know what?
What?
If you got a widow, then you're dead.
I'm not dead.
If you got a widow, you got to be dead. Ain't that right?
That's right.
That's impossible. I'm here.
You just think you are.
Ain't I?
No.
Then you must be dead, too.
Me? That preposterous.
It's not. You said you got a widow, right? That's what you said.
That's what I said.
Then you're dead.
I'm not dead.
Don't argue with me. Just accept it, eh, fella?
Maybe we're all dead.
Maybe we are.
If we're dead, listen.
What?
Come. Yeah. We don't need to pay for any more of this beer we're drinking. The waiter won't notice. We should be able to get it all free.
In the next little while, things began to happen around the camp and in the woods that weren't quite right and weren't quite wrong. Friendly arguments and tussles that weren't quite friendly took place. Accidents that weren't, maybe not wholly accidents, became more and more frequent. Logs rolled down hills or off skidways, sometimes pinning someone.
Get this thing off me, Papineau.
Are you hurt, eh? Are you hurt, Red?
I don't know. Hey, why did you let this log get away on you for?
I had slipped. I couldn't help it.
No.
Trees fell just when someone was passing by.
Holy! Who's trying to kill me?
I not know you were there, Jim.
No, you didn't.
You don't holler, you coming.
You don't holler, your tree was ready to go.
A bit close.
A bit close. Another step and you'd be digging me out with a shovel.
It was a barber's chair that climaxed the run of accidents at the camp. A tree being felled splintered before it was cut through and twisted in a strange and unpredictable arc before breaking off and crashing to the ground, leaving a tall splinter rising up out of the stump, like the back of a barber's chair, which suggested to the loggers long ago the name for this dangerous and not too uncommon phenomenon. The tree swept up a logger in its weird gyrations and carried him 50 or more feet and broke him against another tree still standing in the forest. The other loggers on the hillside lifted him out of the deep snow, wrapped him in their jackets, and brought him back to the camp on a small sleigh.
Who is it?
Cruel-faced McKinnon.
Is it bad?
Very bad.
Carry him in here. All right, put him on my bed. Yeah. All right. It's good and warm here. And there's hot water and things handy for the doc when he comes.
What do you say I got for a doctor?
Oh, he'll patch you up.
My back's broke.
Oh, no.
And my ribs sticking through me like skewers in a roast.
No.
What happened?
Barber's chair.
I thought I was smart enough never to sit on one of them.
What can we do?
Oh, come around, Madame Provencher. Come around where I can see you. Claire, I want something better to look at than a cook.
That's for sure.
Anybody got a bottle of beer or a slug of rum?
The rum might help you.
I'll get some.
I was standing like a fool, daydreaming when the tree split. Daydreaming about the clothes on the line yesterday, frozen stiff, like there were people in them. Some of them long underwear. Stupid, eh? It hurts. I can't laugh.
Would you like me to wipe your face?
I wasn't really daydreaming about the clothes.
No.
I was thinking about the sight of you taking them clothes down yesterday, standing on the chopping stump.
Then I am to blame for this.
For what?
For you, for your accident.
No, it's about time. We're not as smart as the trees. They keep waiting for us.
Here's your rum, cruel face.
Yeah. Fill the cup, cook. Fill it. I want to go out drunk and looking at the widow.
Cruel-faced McKinnon lived through the night and well into the next morning. He drank all the cook's rum and most of what Jim Gilroy had cached away. So when he died, he was feeling pretty good. They buried him in Thessalon. The ground was frozen and rocky, and someone joked that it was as hard to bury Cruel-faced McKinnon as to kill him. But the widow didn't think so. She felt it had been far too easy to kill him.
I should go away, Jim.
Go away?
I am bad to have around here.
Oh, what's this?
You said the first day I would cause nothing but trouble, and it has worked out that way.
No.
Yes, it has.
Oh, now they all feel the same way about you as I do.
Jim, what is wrong with me?
Wrong with you?
Tell me, there is something terribly wrong with me. I have felt it all my life.
Yeah, there is something wrong with you.
What?
You're too much of a looker.
I should have been born ugly?
Oh, no. It's very nice looking at you. But there's a lot of things that shouldn't.
I will go away. But I am happy here.
Then you better stay.
But I am afraid. Afraid like the men, afraid of what I do to people without wishing to at all. Afraid of what will happen next.
Madame Provencher made half-hearted preparations for going away, while welcoming pleas from the loggers that she stay. She rewarded them with wistful smiles and said if the choice was hers alone to make, she would remain. She liked the men, she adored the camp. But some spirit, stronger and wiser than her own, was pressing her to go before she brought upon these new friends of hers worse troubles. It was not until just a few weeks before spring break-up that everything was set and settled. She made her farewells to everyone and climbed into the supply truck for the chilly and bumpy ride into town. But on taking off her mittens, she discovered that she didn't have her wedding ring on, the ring that Marcel had slipped upon her finger and that still bound her to him. She couldn't leave without the ring, but to her horror it couldn't be found.
I have to find it.
Well, we'll look around and send it to you.
No, I cannot go without it.
Well, don't worry, we'll find it. I'll get all the boys to make a real search of the camp.
No, I feel too bad going without it. Louis, take my suitcase down off the truck.
It's not in your suitcase. You've been through it twice.
I must not hold you up any longer, Louis. You go without me.
You are staying?
You're not leaving?
Ah, we dance again tonight, eh?
I will lose Marcel if I do not get it back. I feel so alone without his ring.
Some of the loggers grumbled into their soup at supper that the widow should have been packed off, whether she wanted it or not. They'd had their fill of fuss and trouble.
Yeah, maybe we are too gallant, eh? Hiding from her what that Marcel was like. Maybe we should be a little careless, let slip a few things, eh?
Of what the lug was like?
I don't think we should tell her everything. Of what he did in Iron Bridge, that'd be a bit rough.
No, but enough, eh? To make her wonder maybe she did not get the best man God ever created out of the clay.
It was arranged one evening. By then the air was filled with the smell of melting snow and fresh earth and the sound of water rushing over the rocks down to the river. The widow was ironing her dresses by the stove in the cookhouse. A few of the loggers strolled in and sat down at one of the tables where they could be overheard. And taking turns, they retold the stories about Marcel that had so quickly become part of the lore of the camps. A seed of the devil was Marcel Provencher for sure. The thump of the widow's iron upon the ironing board ceased, and the loggers raised their voices so she wouldn't miss a word. She stopped them, though, before they'd finished all they had to tell.
Please, no more.
Madame Provencher.
What? You there back in the corner all this time?
Yes.
And you heard what we've been saying?
About Marcel?
We can say a lot of good things about him, too.
He was a good mechanic when he worked, but when you've said that, that's all.
No, he was... there was a lot of...
if we knew you were ironing back there, then...
What we have been saying, Madame Provencher, it was not for you to hear.
It was.
No.
You wanted me to hear. I did not think so at first. And then I knew you did. Yes, Papineau.
No.
Red. Boris. Cook.
Maybe we did know.
Maybe.
Oh, we can tell stories like that about any of us.
No. Why did you tell me all this? Do I deserve it, this punishment?
Punishment?
Wasn't to punish you, Claire, but to help you.
How did you do that?
So you would start being a woman again, eh? Living. People die, but other people go on.
I know what Marcel was like. I can tell you worse stories about when he was living in Rimouski and Montreal.
What did you marry him for?
I loved him.
You sure didn't love yourself?
I did. In school, a boy stabbed another boy in a fight over me, and the boy died, and other things happened. Always they happened, fighting over me. I thought I was a terrible person, and I was so afraid. I was afraid to become fond of anyone, because if I did, something terrible would happen to them.
I've never been beautiful, but I guess it can be rough.
Then I met Marcel. I had heard of him and the terrible things he did to girls and other men, and how he got his money. I wonder why I let him take me out that first time. I did not like him, but he had a way. He said I was a saint. So I told him what a terrible person I was really, and he should watch out. But he laughed and said the trouble I brought him would never be much compared to the trouble he made for himself. I felt good with him.
And tried to reform him, eh?
Soon I loved him very much. After we married, I hoped he would change. But I was afraid, too, if he turned good, something would happen to him, something terrible. But keeping on the way he was terrible, too. He had to get away from Rimouski and from Montreal. He was only a sneak and a thief in Rimouski. But in Montreal it was much worse. He came here. He came here to hide from a gang that was after him for things.
Yeah, he seemed a bit shaky when he came.
I went home to Rimouski. He wrote that he liked it here along the Mississagi River. He wrote that he was doing well, and in the spring he wrote that the woods boss wanted him to stay and work on a tug.
Oh, Jim was trapped for a mechanic. Not around, that was why. But we nearly ran him out, more than once, Marcel.
Oh, shut up, Boris.
Let him say.
I have said it.
Only a year ago, Marcel was paddling on the river. He wrote that he wanted to ride it down to Lake Huron. It is almost my wish now. I thought, from what he wrote, that Marcel had found a place where people liked him. I thought he had changed here. But you did not like him.
No, he was all right.
You did not like him.
He did things so we would not like him.
I liked you, all of you, because I thought you liked Marcel. But you did not like him.
Not much.
But we like you, eh?
Anyway, I liked Marcel.
Why? Why?
More than all of you. All hated him.
But why?
Why? Because I am terrible. That I could love him without doing any harm to him. Or do you think he drowned because of me, somehow?
No chance of that.
No, Claire, no.
I have been afraid till now to ask that question, but since we are using the truth, that is the truth.
You needn't blame yourself for that.
Then I can go. Still happy with the love I have.
She went. Some say she left Camp 34 that night by truck. But only a clod with no imagination would believe that. The more likely story is this, that she disappeared.
She's not around anywhere. Not a trace of her.
But where would she go? How would she get out of here? The spring floods have cut off the roads. Keep looking.
Hey, I've found something. The canoe is gone.
What canoe?
The widow's canoe, the one Cruel Face patched up for her, eh?
The bark one?
Yeah.
You don't think she's on her way out in it?
On the Mississagi.
Well, she said she'd like to leave by the river.
Ride it down to Lake Huron.
She knows canoes.
But not a bark one, and the river's running wild. She'll never ride it down.
She might. She's a queer one.
If the rapids don't catch her first.
They never found her. But the loggers say in the years since then, the widow's been seen in the woods along the Mississagi many times. It's the loggers who've been hurt or killed who've seen her, so they say. The sight of her among the trees sets them dreaming, and the dreaming makes them careless. But they say it's almost worth it.
The Widow of the Mississagi by Len Peterson was Playbill 10 on CBC Stage, our radio drama showcase. Presented with music composed and conducted by Morris Surdin. Production and direction, Esse W. Ljungh. In the cast, Joan Maronie as the widow, Ed McNamara as Jim Gilroy, the woods boss, Tommy Tweed as Cruel-Face McKinnon, and Tom Harvey as the cook. Paul Klingman was heard as Boris, Murray Westgate as Red Thorpe, and Bruno Gerussi as Papineau, with Hugh Webster as Steve, Frank Uldus as Johnson, and Jean Cavalle as Louis. John Scott was the storyteller. Sound effects were by John Sliz, and technical operation, John Skillen. CBC Stage is a CBC Toronto production. This is Bill Lorin speaking.